First, I ask, did he tell Clodia why he took the gold? If he didn't, why did she give it to him? If he did, she is guilty of a crime because she knew. Did you take money from your armoire, or did you dare to despoil your Venus statue for such a crime? You shouldn't have done any of this. It's disgraceful to everything you own, including your Venus statue. What more are you waiting for? The truth itself opens its mouth and declares what happened. There is no trace of suspicion of Caelius, no witnesses, nobody to support this ludicrous story. It all comes out of a mean, shameful, cruel, bad, and shameless house. Now it's your turn to decide. Did a brazen, bold, and crazed woman make up an accusation, or did a serious, wise, and modest man give reliable testimony? So now that I totally destroyed all those other arguments, what's left in the charge is about poison, which turns out to be really stupid as well. Why did Caelius even want to poison her? To flake out on returning the gold? Did she even ask for it? Or maybe so that she couldn't charge him? But was he even charged with anything at the time? Such a big crime couldn't have just been committed for nothing.
And to whom did he finally entrust the matter? What helper did he use? What ally? What accomplice? To whom did he entrust such a great crime? To whom did he entrust himself and his safety? The slaves of the woman? This is what you have implied. You have all admitted Caelius' genius. So was he so stupid as to entrust all of his fortunes to another person's slaves? Dumb. Additionally, who doesn't see the manner in which this woman with whorish morals, Clodia, who knows what goes on in that house, but clearly less luxuries and all unheard of vices and misconduct take place. Here, slaves aren't slaves who are involved in the same pleasures.
If he was so familiar with this woman, as you guys suggest, then he would know that the slaves are also very familiar with her, and they would tell her. If not, then why would he trust the slaves? As for the poison, to whom was it delivered, and where? They say that he kept it at home, and that the strength was tested on a certain slave, and that his rapid death led him to think highly of the poison. How ridiculous. He was such a good and healthy man, full of vigor and patriotism, who was torn away from us too early by a truly wicked force. Even with his dying breath, he kept the memory of the Republic firmly in his mind. In his final moments of sanity, he struck the walls of his house and cried out for his friends. And I, alone, with tears streaming down my face, imploring him not to leave us so soon, heard his last words as he silently begged, "I need a tailor." How dare she talk about poison? Is she not terrified that the house itself might cry out? Is she not horrified at those knowing walls, witnesses to that deadly night? But let's return to the charge, because the thought of that wonderful man is going to make me cry. But however, it is not said from where the poison was, or in what manner it was prepared. They say that it was given to Mr. P. Licinius, a modest young man and a good guy. They say that an arrangement was made with the slaves, that they should come to the baths, and that Licinius should go also, and should give them the box containing the poison. Now here's my question. What was the point of all this being done in that previously arranged place? Why didn't the slaves go to Caelius' house? If that great intimacy between Caelius and Clodia was still a thing, it wouldn't have been suspicious for one of Clodia's slaves to be seen at Caelius' house. However, if the love affair was over, hence arose those tears. This is the cause of all that wickedness and of all those crimes. "Oh, no, 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 no," they say, when she found out about the plot. The brilliant woman told the slaves to agree to Caelius' plan. But then in order to catch Licinius in the act of handing over the poison, they were going to all meet in the baths, and have some friends hide there. And then when Licinius got there and was handing over the poison, they would jump out and arrest him. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Why in the world would they meet at the baths? How could men in togas and shoes be able to hide there? They probably wouldn't even be let in unless she made friends with the bathkeeper with her usual exchange of favors. And who are these bony testes anyway? They told us there'd be witnesses, but where are they? Who's getting called to the stand? Well, I'm sure they're real. In fact, they're probably really great guys, really respectable witnesses, because they're friends with such a wonderful, sexually modest virgin. Why am I explaining how great they are to you? See for yourself. They hid themselves in the baths. Amazing witnesses! Then they jumped out too soon. Temperate fellows, to be sure.
Oh my God, stop!
So this is their bulletproof argument. Licinius came into the baths with the poison, was trying to hand it over, and then suddenly these dignified men exploded out of their hiding spots like water ejaculating out of a cracked pipe. There's no end to this story. It doesn't make sense. If so many people were to catch Licinius, how did he get away? The plan was to jump out and catch him when he handed over the box so he could be caught in the act. So why did they jump out before then? How convenient that they sprang forward right when Licinius had arrived and was holding the poison in his hand. How could they have accused him? Would they have said that they had seen it? From where were they standing that they couldn't have possibly seen it? This is rather the end of a farce than a regular comedy. How did that band of men manage to screw up so badly and let Licinius escape? Why didn't they just grab him? Why couldn't they prove that the crime took place by his own confession, by the millions of eyewitnesses? It's because there is no evidence. No ground for committing the crime can be proven or even imagined. So, instead of having concrete evidence, this case is only going to be supported by what these great witnesses have to say. Oh, but the slaves were freed because her relatives, the most outstanding and noble men, wanted it. Wow, at last we find something she did that her relatives approved of. I'd like to know what the reason was behind it, because it sure eliminated some potential witnesses and the opportunity for an investigation. It seemed like a good idea to her relatives. Yeah, and why wouldn't it, considering you say that you personally explained the whole situation to them? I have said my case, O judges, and I'm done, even though I have 10 more sections of my speech left. Now, judges, you understand how important this trial is to the Republic and its laws. Under the law right now, the youth of Caelius isn't being demanded for the punishment of the Republic, but for Clodia's lusts and delights. Why is Caelius even here in the first place? Even when you have no evidence or investigation against him, you still continue to put him under your accusations. Caelius is a disciplined young man, and his entire life has been modeled after the most studious and high-born youths. If Caelius seems too intense, if he has offended anyone, if anyone is jealous of how wonderful he is, let him recollect all of these things, so that over time they won't seem so bad. Therefore, conserve, O judges, a skilled and good man. I promise to you and the Republic that this man will never be separate from our reason. I say this based on our great relationship. It's just not possible for someone who prosecutes others for violence to be a violent person. For someone that prosecutes others for bribery to himself be involved in bribery. you have these two prosecutions which prove Caelius's character. Therefore, I beg and beseech you that in this city where Sextus Clodius was acquitted, a man who you've seen participating in and leading seditions, a man lacking any kind of morals whatsoever, stained in every aspect of his life, who lit a temple on fire, desecrated Catulus's monument, tore down my house, burned my brother's house, who tried to get the slaves of the city to set everything on fire. In this city, we can't let him be acquitted through the influence of a woman, but then have Caelius sacrificed to her lust. We cannot let that woman and her husband and her brother escape justice and then crush Caelius with it.
And when you have given consideration to his youth, and see his old father in front of you, whose whole dependence is his only son, who fears nothing but the disasters which may befall him, give this man your mercy, while he throws himself at your feet and appeals to your virtuous habits and kindness. Support him, if not out of recollection of your own parents, then by the affection with which you regard your own children. Do not, judges, cause this old, crippled man, who doesn't have many years left, end his life before the day which his natural destiny has appointed for him. Look how sad Caelius's dad is. All I have to say is, if you want to sleep at night, you shouldn't hurt this poor old man or Caelius's budding youth. If you acquit Caelius, not only will you save your own conscience, but your children will get to enjoy Caelius's succulent fruits.